Welcome, welcome, folks. We're shuffling the speakers panel as we speak. Hopefully, you can all hear me. We have a electrical crew outside at the end of the driveway, so if I cut off at any time, just it is them. They're thwarting us today. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, settle on in, get your cup of coffee, start up your computers, and get ready to work. We've got Alisher now in the speaker box. Hi, Luke. I see you here. Bitcoin Villas. I see authors here, and I see Matea's here. So, just we'll start up in just one moment. Well, I see that Amy has joined us. I see Smokes in the audience, and I see CJ has also added. I know it can be a little unnerving when there's nothing in the background. We don't have any fancy music. Maybe we'll have to use some of the TSI tools to get some intro music or exit music, etc. Um, Definitely start up your computers. Make sure that you have any questions in order, and we can get to them bit by bit. It is kind of odd to have this on a Friday as opposed to Thursday. So hopefully the beacons have been lit and people will come on in um, from around the planet. Usually it's a Thursday morning thing, but Tech in Schools had a really awesome meeting yesterday. Some incredible things are happening behind the scenes, and I could not be more proud of um, Ross, Nick, and Alisher and their entire crew. There are so many folks that are working in tandem to get everything aligned, and it's just so much fun to watch. Seeing them succeed, seeing people hear about the project, the Tech in Schools initiative, and really finding out about how it's changing the lives of so many people, not just young makers in New York, but people populated around the whole entire planet. We literally have people almost in every continent, I do believe, that is in the Tech in Schools ecosystem and building with us side by side during these classes in our X Spaces digital makerspace, side by side with one another, is kind of the coolest thing. For those of you that are in the audience and not in the Slack channel yet, right? You need to be in the Slack channel. That happens by DM because it is an invite kind of situation. We want to make sure that you are in the class and you're, working side by side with your fellow cohorts here. A lot of the links, the plugins, the free stuff that's in your digital backpack, those links are safeguarded in that Slack channel, and we have to do it that way so that the trolls don't scoop it up or do malicious things with it. Unfortunately, we are in that day and age where there are evil doers and with a streak of Loki in them. So we want to make sure that we're safeguarding those of us that are in the classroom too. We want to make sure that they're not clicking on anything that they're not supposed to. So if you're not in that Slack channel, make sure you're giving us a hands up, a heads up, a signal flare, smoke signals. You take your pick, so that we can make sure you're in there. Some of those links will expire, by the way. You have them for the duration of the class. You want to download them, safeguard them, etc., while you can, because after this, we are now week 3, so halfway through, over halfway through, actually. After class, those links may not be active. So you want to make sure that you get why the getting is good, as they say here out in the rural areas and wilds of Michigan. So at any rate, Alisher, are you ready to start, love?
Yeah, we could start. So
Very cool. Very cool. I will give you a heads up. I do have to co-host a space at noon for Fridays with Vicky. So I might duck out a little bit earlier. I'm pretty sure it'll be a quick and easy.
Yeah. All right, guys. So on Wednesday, we went over a few things. Of course, we went over how you guys can get into your cPanels. I'll demonstrate again. So pay attention to the live stream. We went over how to edit the pages, how to create new pages, which we've done before in week 2. And we also went over how to edit some global settings, such as the header and the footer, the top and the bottom of the website, and the logo. I've had a few DMs about the logo, so I'm going to make sure that we go over that specifically as well. And we also talked about plugins. And I think we're going to spend a lot of time on discussing how to be careful with plugins, and also whether or not you should get those plugins, because sometimes you don't really need the plugin as much as you think you do. Okay, so let's get started. Is everybody watching the live stream at this point? Just give me a thumbs up if you're in a live stream. You want to see, number one, how we're going to get into these cPanels. And the way to do it is actually pretty easy. Everybody has a domain. It's a tsiprogram.org domain. And what you can do is you can actually go to that domain and just add /cPanel at the end. So /cPanel. So there's some really easy word association there. To get to cPanel, you just go to your domain /cPanel. That's your easiest, quickest way in. And then, of course, the login information is all here. I have my username and I have my password. And what I suggest you guys do is bookmark this page. I'm an incognito, but hopefully this goes through. Bookmark it. You can get to it later much faster. You don't even need this hosting platform anymore once you bookmark the page and save the password and the username somewhere. Now, cPanel is great. I know somebody had a question on Wednesday. Well, how do you access the database? How do you, if you know SQL, make changes using SQL? Well, we spoke a little bit about databases. cPanel is this full solution. It lets you manage databases and files, SMTP, SSLs, pretty much anything that's related to you running a website. You'll be able to manage through cPanel. It's this end-to-end solution. I think the industry term is called a webmaster if you mostly work in cPanel. What we focus on is, of course, WordPress. Right? WordPress is another layer of kind of like website management. It's a content management platform. Oh, nice. I have the recap from last week that I was using, so I'm actually going to hop back into that. Now, again, you guys are going to go to applications, and if you want to view your website, you can use the first link. And then if you want to access the dashboard, the admin dashboard where you can edit everything, it's the second link. So it's the link that ends with WP admin if you want to log in as the admin and start editing. Right, so let's see what my website from last week looks like. Well, it's pretty basic. I have a few pages. I don't think I changed anything. I still have the Divi logo, so perfect. We're gonna start from here. Now, because I'm logged into my dashboard, I get this admin, little admin bar on top where I can edit pages, add pages. I can enable the visual builder, which is Divi. It has this little D logo. And that's what we did in week 2. Is we edited some of the pages and we created some of the pages. Right. Well, to edit pages, all I really have to do is just click Enable Visual Builder. And what's important to remember here is we're gonna be using exclusively Divi to edit pages. Since we're using all these layouts, you will not be able to use the default WordPress builder. You will not be able to use these other builders like Gutenberg, and Elementor, because we're mostly going to be going through Divi. So if you're somewhere in Elementor, you're going to be on your own there, because for the next 3 weeks that are left, we're still going to be in Divi, and we're not really going to cover those other builders. But overall, all these builders, they're about the same. They just let you edit what the page looks like, and they have some modules you can add to it that are already pre-built. That's really all these builders do, is give you an easy way to edit your page that's more visual than what WordPress usually consists of. And so Divi Builder is pretty easy. Right? All the text you can just edit as is on a page, and all this other stuff, like the background images, well, you're going to need to be editing some of the section settings and the row settings. And you can also access the different view, right? So this view is more visual. And then we have the block view, which lets you edit the style settings of each block a little bit easier than having to go and hover over it. So some other things here that are in the Divi editor that are useful. Well, the different view modes, right? I can view what it looks like on a desktop, a tablet, and a phone. Some things to keep in mind is, well, phone responsiveness is going to be important. That's something we're going to talk about in the upcoming weeks. And that's pretty much what we covered in week 2, is how to edit these pages. If you want to make a page, you can go to the top right where you have your admin controls, and you can just click plus or hover over plus and click page. And that's going to make a completely new page for you. I don't think I even made any changes. And of course, I highly suggest you guys name your pages immediately, because that's going to create a link. That's going to be very, I guess, proper. Instead of being / some random number, it's going to be / whatever the page name is. I'm going to name my page. Let's call this recap. This is the page we're mostly going to be working with today. I highly recommend publishing before you start making changes. You could also save as a draft instead of publishing. So where there's visibility public, you can actually make it private, password protected, or switch to draft. Amy, you have a question?
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying, so please finish what you were saying with going through everything.
Oh, I'm pretty much at the end of it. I'm just gonna say, make sure you guys use Divi Builder instead of default editor. It's just easier, better looking, and this is where we arrived at the end of week 2. It's taking some of these layouts and bringing them in. So each layout, remember, has a few pages. So you want to make a note of what layout you used. I actually don't remember. So I'm just going to pick a random one and pick a page from there. Let's do this transforming augmented reality, and I'll grab the services page. It looks interesting. Right. So
Okay, I
go ahead.
have a question though, if it's all right. So I have been. First I want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity and everything, and helping us with learning all of this. But I wanted to know. Have you gotten to the point yet where like changing the branding, like updating the Divi logo to be our own logo if we want to do that?
Yeah, great question. This perfectly leads into the next part. So week 3, we went over how to edit a lot of these global settings and the branding. So let's keep rolling along. Actually, first, does anybody have any questions about week 1 and 2? Getting into our cPanels, getting into our WordPresses, setting up all these pages, creating pages, editing pages. Does anybody have any questions about that so far? Because now we're going to move into what we actually did in week 3, which is edit all these global settings, such as our navigation bars, logos, footers, and the site title. My site title is called My Blog so far. I think for most of us, that's the case. Awesome. I don't see any hands. I don't know if it's because I'm on Android or there aren't any hands, but we'll keep rolling along.
You might have
Okay.
one question, Alistair, actually, from Dan.
Yes.
I just put him up.
Yeah, Dan's bringing up. Dan, did you have a question, love?
Sorry, just a second. I was talking to my daughter. We're trying to figure out the morning routine today. Yeah, just real quickly. I am just on that view that showed everything in kind of block. It's in the bottom left. It's the first view on the left that just kind of shows like the roadmap. Can we edit pretty much any part of the page in there? Because I actually love that layout. It's like you said, it's less hovering around. Or are there certain things that we're unable to edit from that view?
No, you should be able to edit everything. So if you just click some of these gears, like on this box of text, once I click that gear, I have access to all the settings, the same as you would in the front end, where it's all visual. So you should
Sweet. That's amazing.
Here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let me actually save this. So another important thing is whenever you guys are editing, you have this little button that brings up the toolbar on the bottom. It's a little purple button. That's going to bring up all these settings like page settings, delete, save this to templates and library. And of course, it's going to bring up this green save button on the bottom right. Very important. You don't want to lose your progress, so you want to make sure you save. Now, what we did the other day is we started editing all these global settings. Now, I'm going to start with the logo. So the first global setting I want to edit for now is the logo, and we'll need to go into the dashboard and we'll need to find this somewhere in the theme settings. So I'm going to go to my blog, I'm going to go to dashboard, and let's see what we have here. So in my dashboard, I have Divi. Divi is both our builder and our theme. If you guys Google Divi theme and you find something that's that's built using Divi, and it's for sale. You could get it. It'll work with your Divi builder. But for us, we're just going to use the layouts. Now, Divi and theme options is where we're going to go. And most of these themes, whether you bought something or whether you found something for free, it's going to have theme options that will let you manage a few things. I think here you can manage some colors, some layouts, and most importantly, our branding, our logo. So let's go to theme options. And it should be the first option here in general, logo, and we can just upload. Not sure if I have anything. Let me see. Check my files. Oh, I actually do have a few logos. Perfect. So let's upload. And I would say watch out, guys. You don't want to upload things that are, excessively large in terms of files. WordPress tends to have a few issues if, let's say, your pictures are larger than 10 megabytes. Okay, and now whenever you guys make a change and you want to see this change reflected on your website, you always want to click Save. So there's a Save Changes button at the top. So again, we're going to go to our WordPress dashboard. We're going to go to Divi in the side menu, select Theme Options, and the first setting there in the Theme Options is our logo. You can upload your logo. I recommend uploading a PNG. You might need to enable some sort of special file extension settings for an SVG. But for the most part, everybody should be able to upload a PNG, and then make sure you click Save Changes in order to see those on your website. Now, if I want to see these on my website, if I go all the way to the top left, I can hover over this little home icon, and there's a Visit Site button there that we can go to. And there's my TSI logo. So that's one of the big global changes that we made in week 3, a few days ago. So guys, any questions so far, or if you guys want me to show you where it is again?
I'm not seeing any questions whatsoever, Alisher, but I did think that you were going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of plugins. I don't know if you're going to still do that today.
We're gonna get to that.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, guys. So we'll keep rolling along. Now, the other global settings that we worked with was the menu. So here I have my menu. It has all these pages that are, well, I don't really want uncategorized. That's the blog. It doesn't really have anything there. I don't really want this homepage, but we'll stick with it for now. And I don't really, maybe I don't want some of these. So in order to get to the menu, we need to go to Appearance Menus. So here on the side menu, we have Appearance Menus. And they have this little menu builder. It's pretty easy to use. You can create a new menu. So I'm going to name my menu, we'll call this Recap. So I know we made this today. And this is going to be my menu for everything. If you guys want a different menu for the footer, you can select a different one. But for me, I'll just have one for everything, and I'll create the menu. Okay, for now it's empty, and that will be reflected in our website. So whenever I refresh, I should no longer. Well, I still have a menu, so we'll fill it in first. Let's see. Let's see. We're gonna go to View All because I want to see all the pages. And whenever you want to add something to the menu, you can just select it. There's a little checkbox. You can do Add to Menu. If you want a link that leads outside of your website, outside of any of these pages that you've created, well, you can use custom links. And you can make it lead anywhere. So if I wanted a link that leads to mytsi.org, you can put it right in here. And I'll say TSI website. Why not? All this does is it adds links to the menu. Simple menu builder. You want to make sure you save. And hopefully this is the main menu. Let's check. Oh, whoa. Okay. No secondary menu. So, something there with a secondary menu doesn't like. Hilarious. Now, other global settings we went over. Well, you can actually completely disregard this current navigation bar and build your own. I see a hand. Amy?
Yeah. Do you have any like ideas of resources on how to figure out how to customize a Divi theme? Because this is like, I don't know, there's a lot in here. I'm trying to figure out like, okay,
So
I think
I have,
I have a understanding of this. I think maybe.
I have an advice in this situation. Don't look at all the theme options. Just worry about the theme option that you actually want to edit. So you want to edit.
Right. No, I know. I'm in the Divi theme options right now, and I'm just what I'm focusing on is getting my logo to be looking right on it. And
So
I
what I
guess
suggest is
I don't really know where to go.
don't use WordPress to make the logo the right size. Go into something like Canva or just crop it. Because Divi, if
Right.
you kind of look
No,
at
it looks different on this though than it does in Canva. Sorry.
Take a screenshot if you like. We can't really see, so you have to take a screenshot and post it of what you're seeing.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
And also, I put 2 things in the nest for you. This is really good documentation straight from Divi themselves. There's loads of information, YouTube videos, actual YouTubers that have whole channels about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
And you can also, as you guys are going to find out in the coming weeks, you can use custom CSS. So you can just completely disregard whatever options there are there and write your own code to make it look exactly how you want.
And Amy, just for, your own edification too, the links that are in the Chubble or down below that the boys have posted, you can actually put that whole entire thing into my AI tutor and it'll actually suss out all the good bits for you. So it is definitely a life hack in terms of sifting through volumes of information to find those golden nuggets. Just for the sake of the recording and the folks that are in the room today, you can do that.
Also, I don't even think you need to put the docs in. I think it already knows Divi. Last week, I helped somebody with global CSS, and all you really need to ask it is, hey, I want to change how my logo looks. I'm using Divi theme. Give me custom CSS to make it look, and then look like blank, right? And then put in whatever changes you want to make. And it's going to give you a snippet of code that you can paste on your page. If you're watching the live stream, I'm going to show it to you in the visual builder. So whenever you're in the visual builder, there's page settings that these are the settings for the entire page. So if you wanted to add like a background to the page, if you wanted to change the name of the page, give it a description, and when you go to advanced, there's a custom CSS option where you can put in your own code that pretty much overwrites whatever styling options there are here. So you can talk to AI Tutor, and it will give you code that will work quite well in a section.
And also, I'm sharing a bunch of stuff. These are videos, like actual videos and links that will help you guys. There's a lot of content that's not just in this class. This is an actual product. Remember that.
Now, the other global settings that we looked at were the header and the footer. So if, let's say, you don't want to use the basic Divi header that has, let's see what we have here. It has the logo, the menu, and this search. Well, you can build your own header. So you don't really need to use that one. We can just go to Divi, theme builder, and then this will let us create our own global header. Let's say you want to add some social links there to your social media, and you want to get rid of that search. Well, this is going to allow you to do it all within the Divi builder. So if I click Add Global Header, and I do Build Global Header, it's just going to take me to the blank Divi builder. And then from here, I can start laying out my header. Well, what do I want? Let's see. Let's break it up into quarters. And then my logo, well, my logo is just an image. So I want to paste an image here. I want to add some social links here. So let's see if there's social media follow. Cool. I'm going to leave this blank maybe. And then on this side, I want my menu. You can actually choose which menu you can use. I only have one. All right, cool. Now, this column, not a big fan of this column. It's kind of messing it with the box here. Well, I can actually change the settings to this whole structure. So if I go to row settings, right now my structure is 4 columns. Well, let's make it back to 3. I don't need this other column. And then I can also change the sizes of each little row. So right now, if you were to go and check out this header, it's actually going to be giant. So if I click Save, so save, and I think I have to also save it in my theme settings. Let's exit. Yep. This header is going to be giant. So we just have to play around with it a little bit. There it is. Right. It's gigantic. Easy fix. We can just go back to editing. And we wanted to kind of take that place where the old header was. But to do that, we need to mess around a little bit with the layout and design. And this is some good practice for you guys to kind of get used to how some of this works. Right, so if you aren't familiar with these settings here, these section settings, design settings, advanced settings, building a header is a good opportunity for you to play around with these. Now let's see, content. Yeah, this all seems fairly standard. Great. Now, the height here is quite large, so maybe once we input an image here, let's try this out. And also, guys, if you see all these boxes and all these modules that you're pasting into the page, you can actually resize them just by dragging the corners. So let's say if I wanted this to be smaller, all I have to really do is just drag it along. Right, so you don't really have to use all those settings. You can actually just drag things if you want to change the spacing. Okay, that's a little bit more like it. Let's see. Now, also, I would just say, just watch out when you're dragging. I highly recommend having a mouse. Does get a little bit hard to drag, but once you kind of have your menu situated, you have your header situated, you can save. And this image, of course, we can really put in any image that we want. It's just an image. I'm going to use the same TSI logo I've used before. These links, these social links, they have their own settings, and you can add as many as you want. They have a lot of options here. And also, if you have a bit of a hard time seeing some of these options, you can actually make these boxes bigger too. So it's a little bit easier. And now we have a global header. And this will be on every page you create. Looks like it's auto-saving. Perfect. You could also change some of these styles as well. So if you wanted to spend some more time on a header, I would say do it now during week 3, because next week, we're going to be doing something else. We're going to be introducing you guys to some new options in WordPress. Okay, well, now I have my header. It should be much smaller now. It should have some more links. And of course, if you guys spend some more time on this, I'm sure you can finesse all the spacing. And you can do the same thing for the footer. Now, here's what's cool about the footer. Let's say I like this footer on the front page. It's actually a really good footer. It has some great links. It has this newsletter subscription. Well, I want to use it. In that case, I'm going to enable Visual Builder here. And I'm going to go back to my theme builder. And I'm just going to copy and paste it. This is one of the easier things to do. Let's say your layout has a great footer. Most of these layouts do. I'm going to click Add Global Footer. It's going to replace whatever footer that's kind of empty that I already have. Let's see. It's going to replace this footer that just shows my blog, a few links here, and this copyright that's not my copyright. So what I'm going to do is I want this whole section to be my global footer on every page. So if your layout has a footer, then for you, it's actually going to be really easy. Your page is going to seamlessly blend into your footer. So all I really have to do is click Copy Section, and then I can bring it into my footer by just pasting. So right-click and paste section. And there you go. Now I have my own footer. I don't need this. I can just save. I don't have to spend as much time building it. I already found a good design that works. And I want to make sure I save these changes. You guys always want to find the save button if you made any changes. And I should have like almost a double footer here. Let's see. Yeah. So I have 2 of them because my front page has one, but this one is global. And if you wanted to edit the footer, you can actually edit it from here. Once you click this, it's going to take you to another page where you can start editing your footer. You can even mess around with the spacing. Let's say I don't want that much spacing. There it is. It's all about kind of mastering working within this editor. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about editing your global header and footer? This is if you don't want to, use the default Divi header and footer. Here's your chance to make your own. And I think most of these layouts come with a footer, so you can even go find a good layout that has a good footer and just copy that.
Alistair, I got a question real quick. I was wondering if you could show me how you can change the gradient color exactly, like, or for the footer to get it to how you have it right there, because you have like 3 different colors, and when I go into mine, it has like a preset color, and I couldn't change it.
Right. So great question. So here I am. It's probably going to be section settings. If it's a background that kind of stretches across the entire section from left to right, then it's probably going to be section settings. Section settings, when you hover over it, has like a blue outline. And then let's go to design. And here, let's see. No background, content, background. Okay. It's under content, background. And here I have a few things enabled. So if you notice, the things that are enabled are in blue color. Let's see if I zoom in. Oh, that's nope. Zoom in doesn't work. Okay, so the things that are enabled, they're in blue, and this actually has a few things. It has a background pattern, which is a gradient as well. It has a background image, which is a gradient, and then it has a background black and white gradient, and the background color itself. So this has a lot of options, but my recommendation is go into a design tool like Canva, make a gradient, and just upload it as a background image. That's the easiest way. Because if you try to go background gradient here and you try to play around with it, it's a bit hard. I think the tools that you have like Photoshop and Canva are a lot more visual and easier to get a good gradient out of. So you can just set it as a background image, and that should do the trick. Now, if you wanted to set a gradient for the whole page, well, I think then you could use AI Tutor and maybe ask it for some sort of global CSS setting. And you can paste that code in custom CSS. There's actually a few places to paste custom CSS. We're gonna go over it. If you want custom CSS that's global throughout the whole website, instead of just one page, WordPress themselves have a setting we can set. Okay, guys, who else has a question about global, really any question before we get into plugins? So whether it's about editing, whether it's about the global settings.
Just a real quick question. We may not be here yet. Just let me know if that's so. But as far as embedding like a media player, is that down the road, or it's maybe something I missed?
So check this out. Whenever you're editing this, and let's see. Yeah, cool. So if you want to add something, you click the plus to add it, right? So let's say you're adding an element. There is an embed option. So let's see. There's a code option where you can just paste straight code. So if let's say you have a Spotify embed code, you can just paste that straight in. Let's say you have a Beehive subscribe form code. You can just paste that in using the code module, the code block. So how you're editing, and you're adding in the text and the images the same way. You can add a new row and you can add code. So I'm going to put code, and let me see.
Yes, the big
I'm going to go grab like a YouTube video, for example. YouTube, here's a random 1-hour video on my front page. Yeah. Oh, right, this is incognito. And let's say if I want to embed this, I go to share, go to embed, and I can just copy this code. If you know how YouTube embed codes work, you can look at it, change some settings. I'm not really too familiar. And then all I have to do is just paste that code in here. And there's the embedded media. So if you have something like a Spotify embed, a podcast embed, a contact form embed, a jot form, whatever gives you an embeddable code, you can just paste it straight in here using the little code block.
Oh my goodness, thank you. That's so intuitive. Yay.
Yeah, there's I think embed media is awesome because it just makes it so easy. Especially, and we've recently used Beehive with a few of our students, and it looks really great. They give you a nice code for just to subscribe field, and you can paste it wherever you want. Okay, guys. So now let's talk about plugins. We gave you guys some plugins last week, and I just want to address a few things. So the plugins that we gave you last week, you don't really need them for what we're doing, but they're good plugins. For example, the extra theme. So the extra theme turns your Divi Builder theme into a magazine style theme. If that's something you want to do, then you should definitely use it. But you can also use Divi to build it. And if you're not doing a magazine, blog specific website, then try not to use it because we're not really going to go over it. Then some other plugins like the Monarch plugin, you guys can, of course, use those. I see Bloom. These will all help you with social media share in case of Monarch. And let's see. Oh, and Bloom does the pop-ups, which is great. So now, in terms of any other plugins, well, let's take a look at the plugin store here. Remember, on the side menu, you have plugins, and there's a few things to be said about plugins you already have. Let's go to installed plugins first. As you guys can see, I have plugins that need an update. It is very important to keep your theme and plugins updated. So I'm going to click Update Now. And you also want to check for updates if there's any new version. Now, you know the plugin is enabled because it's going to be highlighted in blue. Right now, if you install some plugins on Wednesday, that's great. Just make sure that you need those plugins. But so far, everybody should really only have these 3 plugins installed. All-in-one WP migration with the unlimited extension, which we give you, because that's going to allow you to back up your websites fully, transfer your websites fully, as you will find out in the last week. And then limited login attempts, which prevents you from certain attacks. All right, let's say brute force attack. Somebody tries to log into your account more than 3 times. They become locked out. It's a security measure. So that's what everybody starts with. Now, once you go to add new plugin, well, you get this whole plugin store. Now, what do you want to pay attention to here? If you need a plugin, you can look for the plugin, and some things you want to watch out for. Of course, the rating. How many people have reviewed it? What people gave it? This classic editor, this is the OG WordPress editor that everybody loved because it was just pure code. So it has 10 plus million active installations. That's another thing to watch out for. How many people are actively using this plugin? When was this plugin updated? 2 months ago. Is it compatible with my version of WordPress? There's a check mark. It is compatible. So these are, I'll say, the 4 most important things to watch out for. Rating, how many active installations it has, when it was updated, and compatibility. Now, let's say I want to plug in for SEO. I'm just going to look up SEO. And great, here's top 3. You have one that is used by over 10 million people, updated a week ago, compatible, 27,000 reviews, all 5 stars. So this would be a great choice if you were doing SEO. You should feel safe to click install now. Same as this one, 3 million plus users, updated. It's up there, 4 or 5 stars, a lot of reviews, compatible. So whenever you look at some of these numbers, you should feel safe enough to click install. And if you don't want to mess up your website, my recommendation, use the plugin we gave you, all-in-one WP migrations, and back up your website. Create a backup so you can always come back to it. But that's how you identify plugins that you can safely install. All right, do a lot of people use it? Does it have good reviews? How many reviews does it have? When was it updated? And is it compatible with my version of WordPress? Because WordPress updates almost every week. If there's a vulnerability, they will make sure they patch it as soon as they can. Any questions so far about plugins? Now, when you install plugins, make sure you also read what these plugins do. Let's say Elementor, for example. You don't want Elementor at this point because for the next 3 weeks, we'll be using Divi. So if you're an Elementor, you're going to get very confused because it's just not going to look like what you're seeing here in the space. There's a more details button that you can actually click on and read about. Elementor is great. It's just not what we're using. It's also paid. It's a lot more expensive. We can't give you guys the same kind of access. You're not going to get the premium side of Elementor when you use the free version, as opposed to Divi, which we pay for in all the licenses. But you can actually click on more details, read about these plugins. This is Yoast SEO, one of the most popular plugins on the store. You can read about the plugins. You can read the ratings. You can go to their pages and actually read about it because Yoast has, a premium that you might want to pay if you really want to, crank up your SEO. But yeah, these are all the things you can find out about a plugin. And let's say, well, I like this plugin. It does SEO. This is what I'm going to use. I'm going to click install. And then once it installs, you can activate it. And it will most likely add a new menu item on your side menu for that plugin. So perfect. Right here, I have Yoast SEO. And a lot of these plugins that have millions of active installations, they're going to try to walk you through the first steps. So start first time configuration. They have some sort of an analysis, sure. Right, so here we go. So this is actually some cool things about SEO plugins is they're going to help you with these global titles, global taglines. Is this a personal website? Is this an organization website, like CSI website? And so this is what these plugins bring in. These plugins extend WordPress functionality by bringing in extra modules. So in this case, I have this entire Yoast SEO module. And there's also probably something on the page itself that will help you with SEO specific to that page. Okay, any questions about plugins so far? Remember, guys, very important, do not install plugins that don't look credible. All right, remember, you want to watch out for active installations. You want to watch out for the ratings and when it was last updated. So let's say you want a store. Well, I can look up WooCommerce. WooCommerce is how you would do a store in WordPress completely for free. If you use Shopify, they have a monthly. WooCommerce does not. And there it is, 7 million installations, high ratings, recently updated, compatible. So that's really what you're looking for. Now, I think somebody mentioned Printify, print on demand. You can turn this into your print-on-demand service.
Alice, your love, I'm interrupting briefly. We have a connection issue, so just know that if it rugs, folks, find the purple halo again, okay?
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping up too. We only have a few minutes. So, guys, if you want a print-on-demand service, I think somebody mentioned it on Wednesday. And if you're using Printify, they have a plugin. All right, so Printify, they have a plugin that automatically will bring in all the products. So you can have a WooCommerce shop that does print-on-demand. If you have Shopify, and if you're paying for Shopify, you're happy with Shopify, you want to continue paying them, I'm sure Shopify actually allows you to bring in your website onto your WordPress as well. Let's see, Shopify. There's WP Shopify, display products from your Shopify store. Now, some things to watch out for here. Well, I'm not really trusting this plugin. It's number one, it's not by Shopify. It doesn't have a lot of installations, although 3,000 active installations is kind of a lot. It was not too long updated, compatible, just doesn't have great reviews. So here you would try to use your judgment, and I will personally, if I really need this integration, I'll use this. But of course, if it becomes not compatible, if this person doesn't really update it, then I really shouldn't use it. Now, there's also different marketplaces. So if you guys look up WordPress plugin or buy WordPress plugin or free WordPress plugins, I'm sure you'll find some interesting things. Things that are useful. And whenever you pay for a product, you always get some sort of support that will help you set that product up. And we have bought products for WordPress that were extremely useful, that pretty much turns your entire WordPress into a platform that's completely different. Like, let's say you want a platform where you sell NFTs or you have a crypto wallet. You can actually turn WordPress into that. WordPress is just a PHP wrapper framework for whatever you want to do. Because at the end of the day, you could always go to AI Tutor and ask it to turn your WordPress into whatever you want with a few lines of code. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about plugins before we wrap this up?
I like go by so fast, and it's a quick and easy down and dirty. So you did an awesome job today, friends.
Yeah, thank you guys. And remember, between now and next week, next Wednesday, you want to edit those pages on your website. If you have questions about plugins, if you're deciding what plugin to use, feel free to message us on Slack. Let us know. Send us a screenshot. We'll guide you through it. We'll tell you if it's credible or not. And yeah, guys, we're gonna try to bring all these websites together in the next 3 weeks.
I am going to drop down, Alisher. To each and every one of you that came in today, you did awesome. And investing in yourself is by far the greatest investment that you can do of your time and energies. Building up things, learning new skills, retooling and creating awesome. So I'm proud of each and every one of you. If you need any help, obviously DM us in the background, and definitely join the Slack channel, because that's a quicker and easier way to get in touch with the people that are in your class, can help you in some way, and meet an immediate need. You all have a wonderful day, and I will see you on Saturday at Josh's space in the Innovators Think Tank. Saturday they have our live pitches and wonderful speakers, and of course, our TSI demonstrations that happen in the very end and the tail end of that whole entire session. So have a wonderful day, folks.
Have a good one, Sarah. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Thanks for being here early. Alisher, I brought up CJ. CJ, did you have one more question for Alisher before we wrap up everything?
Oh, no, I was just going to say thank you so much. I have to go. I had something come up, but I'm just very appreciative and just thank you.
Awesome. Glad to hear it, brother. Alisher, did you have any last few words to say, or any last little tail end notes? Maybe Ross too. I'll give you guys one more opportunity before we close her out.
Yeah, I'll say one quick thing. If you guys need any help, make sure you go to Slack. Don't feel like scared of trying a plugin. If you run into a problem, just let us know. We can hit a reset button pretty quickly. And definitely do some research. So use the internet and be like, I want to do this, and then put WordPress plugin next to it. So for example,
or say best plugin for WordPress that does this, and they'll give you top 10.
Yep. There's websites that battle this out. There's whole websites about plugins going against each other. What's better, what's cheaper, what's the easiest, what's the best. So you do your research. This is all very real, and you're not really in a gated garden anymore. The gates are now open.
Awesome. I'm in the Slack channel too. If anybody else has any or needs any more help, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I can try to help you out with your WordPress design. But everybody, go out and innovate today. Go hard in whatever you're working on. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll leave you guys with Josh's 3 favorite words to end these space, and I love them. And I'll see you. Oh, actually, don't forget, bring a buddy with you to ITT number 56 this Saturday, guys. It's going to be awesome. Anyways, I'll leave it there.